It's the lunatic from the woods here, out here in the middle of the woods. Just having a good time, beautiful morning, super foggy, cold day. So yeah, what I'm going to talk about is like contact with the gross physical level of the devil. So what I'm really talking about is like, if you're wrapped up in like your hatred or something, if you have thoughts of hatred, thoughts of lust or something. I talk about semen retention all the time. And then if you go to like masturbating or like, it gets really distorted and you start like raping people or something. Yeah, I mean, the devil has you. Like, I mean, it's completely destructive. So you want to keep that at a more subtle level. And then it'll eventually get more and more subtle to the point where like you don't even really notice it. You're just kind of like chilling. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it'll loosen its grip and then it'll go to a more subtle level and then it'll go to a more subtle level to the point where you don't even notice it. And that doesn't just relate to like semen retention. That relates to like so many different things. Like if you're having thoughts of like hatred and stuff like that about somebody and then you're gossiping about them, that is way more, the thoughts of the hatred is like, that's a less destructive way than the gossiping. I mean, the gossiping is going to really hurt you and it's really going to hurt the other people and it's going to cause so much chaos and everything. Don't let your mind trick you into thinking like you just have to vent, to get these things out. It's just going to make them worse. And then from the gossiping, it could go into an even more physical level and it could turn into like violence and stuff like that. Like that's how these things happen. That's how, people end up hurting each other and stuff like that on a physical level. Like it just gets more and more physical. It's the same thing, but it's just more subtle. So yeah, if you have thoughts of hatred and stuff, don't turn that into gossiping because you're spiraling downwards. That's a step down from just thoughts of hatred. Really cool stuff. I just kind of realized like how it kind of, that philosophy of like, just getting more and more on a gross level and then going more and more subtle. I've actually experienced, through vows of silence that will get more and more subtle to the point where you don't even notice it. So if you're having like a lot of thoughts of like hatred or you hate somebody or like you just negative self-talk, if you take a vow of silence, that'll eventually disappear. It'll fade, it'll get so subtle into the background where you won't even really notice it. I talk about that with lust and stuff. I noticed that. It gets weird. It feels like weird. It's like it's freedom. Like it's liberation. Like you don't. Yeah, like I mean, it gets weird. Like if you're used to like lusting all the time, and then you go from that, and then you're just kind of like on semen retention, and you're just, you're still on it. You have drive to be on it, and then the lust comes. And then you're like meditating to get rid of all the succubuses and stuff. It'll eventually just go away. But then it will come back because you're still in the physical form. But that's fine. I mean, that's completely fine. You don't want these things to get out of control. That's kind of like where I'm going. But to the people who are super unconscious, if you keep going deeper and deeper into it, you let your negative thoughts get out of control. You're gossiping about them. It's just stirring all that up. You're just, they're going to get even worse. The devil's going to get even stronger, and it's going to get even stronger. And then it might turn into physical violence, a couple steps down. I'm trying to think of like, if I have like another example of it getting, like greed. It could also go with like greed. I mean, like, I never really had problems with like materialism, but I mean, you see people, when they have like a lower amount of money, they pay their bills and stuff, and they have money to spend, and then they'll be making like $20,000-$30,000, and then when they accumulate up to like $100,000 or like $200,000 a year, they're not paying their bills. Stuff's getting shut off because it's greed. You want all that money for yourself. You start like stealing your groceries, and you're making like an obscene amount of money. Like, there's no reason for that. Your greed is your materialism is just getting out of control. I can't really personally relate to that one, but I have seen people go down that path. But this is the lunatic from the woods here. I'll leave a journal up there. I'll leave a link in the description. Check out my shop. Don't forget about that. I got cool coffee cups and stuff like that. You guys have a blessed day.